anniversary coming up. What does the anniversary mean for African and African descent people? And what is happening in Bristol around this? I'll say a little bit about what's happening in Bristol. You'll have on your chairs as you come in a document called the COBG position statement. You'll also have this document, Operation Truth, on your chair as well. The consortium of that group has done quite a lot since January until now. And this came about following meetings in 2005 and the beginning of 2006. These are community meetings where the community got together, public meetings, and it mandated the COBG to lead the community response to the upcoming 2007 anniversary. And since then what we've done is we've produced that position statement like you see on your chair, and everywhere we go we publicise it and seek support for it. We've made links with like-minded groups in other parts of the country, hence the links and connections with the speakers that you'll hear tonight. It's part of what the COBG has been doing. We've embarked on a campaign to promote that position statement and to seek widespread support for it. We've effectively boycotted the City Council's 2007 plans called Abolition 200 through a strategy of active non-compliance and non-participation. We've produced what I call a manifesto, but my colleague preferred to call it an outline plan for achieving the COBG aims and objectives, and that's built into the position statement. I think it starts from page 2 onwards. So that gives a blueprint to people, supporters, organisations if they want to do something. We've supported the development of this campaign, now referred to as Truth 2007 rather. And we've jointly, with this campaign, facilitated a radio debate, again talking about next year and how it should be facilitated, how it should be remembered, should it be remembered, and who should drive it. So that's broadly the things that the COBG has been up to since January. How has that been received? The position statement is seen by a few as strident and tough. Some think that it's taken a really tough line. Equally, some people think it's not tough enough. Bristol City Council in particular has had difficulty with the stance that's taken in that COBG position statement. And just to summarise a bit of the statement, the key part of our stance is that 2007 should be a catalyst to invigorate and give focus to an agenda for change that dramatically improves the socio-economic and political position of African and African Caribbean people in Bristol. I don't think that's radical at all. I think that's the very basic that we could ask for. But for some reason this message is unpalatable to the City Council, and they've pressed ahead with their Abolition 200 plans regardless. Now, we also pressed ahead with our strategy of non-compliance, regardless. And so I think you have parallel things going on. But we believe that Abolition 200 is nothing more than a public relations exercise that will do very little, we think, to progress our agenda for social justice. And it won't make any meaningful or lasting change to the position of black people in Bristol. What we've heard recently, this was in the local rag, the Evening Post, that the Mayor has invited Nelson Mandela to come to Bristol in 2007. Now, cynics would say that our heroes are being brought in to keep the locals quiet. But you can't help but note that it's staggering that the Council is not prepared to invite Mr Mandela to come to Bristol. Well, they are rather prepared to invite him to come to Bristol, but they're not prepared to engage in a debate about slavery. They're not. They keep shying away from it. And when the issue comes up, they consistently talk about apology, divert to this issue of apology. So the past, I think from their point of view, should be forgotten. Now, there are contemporary issues as well which lead right back to that past. And those issues come up in the way the City Council deal with things like local area agreements. Their draft local area agreement, for example, exclude black people almost entirely, so that the services that will be provided from next year onwards for 3 years doesn't include black people. And that is the position they've taken, to write us out of the script in terms of service delivery, but at the same time to collect local taxes from us. And they want to whitewash the enslavement past as well, and not recognise how much it contributes to the wealth of this city, or has contributed to the wealth of this city. So those linkages and connections are there. There's the continuing legacy of the slave trade, that is racism and prejudice and discrimination. And these are the challenges that the COBG is here to oppose, really. Now, just to summarise something very quickly, the COBG is facilitated by the Black Development Agency. They've provided the facilities for tonight. They've done the organising, and I have to thank them very much for that. But the core work of the COBG is to lobby for improved public services, access to public services, and to ensure that the concerns and the issues facing the black community does get on the policy agenda. So that's what the COBG does. Having set that context and that background, what I want to do now is to introduce our first speaker. And I'll tell you a little bit about him. I've clipped this from the website as well, so I hope it's accurate.
It's on the website. It's African propaganda.
Right. What do I want to make correct? Agbetu. Okay. Right. Yes, Toyin is the founder of Legali, and he's the head of social and education policy there. And I'll read what it says from the website. As an organisation, Legali is fundamentally strive for equality, but our core focus is on working as an African human rights movement that acts as one of the many spiritual and cultural gatekeepers for our community in the UK. Toyin is the founder of Legali, an African-British organisation set up to campaign for human rights and cultural, socio-economic and political justice on behalf of the African community. In particular, Legali challenges the misrepresentation of African people and culture in the British media and advocates self-determination and equality within the African British community. As head of social and education policy for the organisation, Toyin is responsible for a number of initiatives, including Stuff You Should Know initiative aimed at informing young people of their civil rights, the No N-Word campaign focusing on stemming the rampant use and negative reclamation of the offensive N-word in the media and social institutions, and supporting the establishment of a National African Remembrance Day. Toyin is also the author of several reports, including Jesus Says Sorry, worth reading, it's on the website. And that's the Anatomy of a Political Apology for Slavery, Declaration of Protest of the 2007 commemoration of the bicentenary of the British Parliamentary Abolition, and the Making of an Impoverished History from G8 to Live 8. That's Toyin. I'd like to hand over to you now.
Thank you, Mary.